Back into court we go. And we have a very interesting testimony coming up. Courtney Sithe and the waxwork plot. It all began at the scene when I saw the waxwork and the note tucked inside its jacket. The actual body of the victim, as indicated in the note's instructions, was beneath the experimentation stage. The body had to be arranged in certain ways to implicate the defendant. It was my job. I enlisted the help of this entire forensic investigation team to dress the scene appropriately. The truth about the execution 10 years ago was a state secret at the highest level. I had to protect it. Well, so I was right. The stage and the machine were all specifically designed for the deception. So it seems. And all meticulously prepared. You did well to see through it. A compliment? You're a very shrewd boy. Oh. So kind of you to say. And what about this autopsy report, then? All I did was record the location of the body as being in the crystal tower instead of under the stage. That's all? That's a terrible corruption. Only my team were aware of the deceit, and then only under my explicit instructions. Nobody else at Scotland Yard knew anything about it, I assure you. We must be thankful for small mercies, I suppose. Well, I believe that testimony has clarified everything. There's no particular need for cross-examination, I would say. No, I disagree. I can't shake the feeling that something's wrong. Just look at that expression on Dr. Sithe's face. It's the defense's right to cross-examine any witness following testimony. What is it about you Japanese that makes you all so doggedly persistent? Very well. If you so desire, counsel, proceed with the cross-examination. Yes, my lord. We're full into bonus time territory at this point. We've already got His Honor admitting that, Professor Harebrain is completely innocent of all of this.
Hold it!
From what you described before, it sounds like the note was anonymous. Did you have any idea of who was behind it? There are very few people in the know about what really happened 10 years ago to start with. Anyway, I'd never heard of this engineer. So no, I had no idea.
Excuse me!
Mr. Trevor, is something wrong? Don't mind me. Mr. Trevor! He's just Fortnite emoting. It would appear his only answer is that rather bewitching mechanical wiggle. I could have just said no. Really?
Hold it!
Let's actually proceed through here. Yet despite not knowing who was behind the plan, you went along with it. I had no choice. Protecting the professor's secret was my only concern. But the horse is bolted now, and the stable door will never shut again. Scotland Yard's reputation will be immeasurably damaged as a result of all this. Yes, thank you, Lord Van Zieks. I'm well aware of that. So, as I understand it, what you found in the bird cage was the waxwork model. Where then was the victim's body?
Hold it!
So you knew about the special construction of the stage used to carry out the trick then? It was quite obvious what had happened with the victim and the waxwork. And you switched the two over, didn't you? In other words, you recorded the victim's body as having been discovered in the Crystal Tower, and the waxwork. I wrapped it and sent it by carriage to the specified address at the specified time. So you returned it, essentially. And why were you given such directions? Presumably so it could be recovered by Dribber and returned to Madame Tuspells. I see. And then you put the bird cage back onto the experimentation stage. Yes. Although someone obviously made a mistake about which cage should go where. I thought I made it perfectly clear to the team, but still. Sorry. I suppose you were focused on the victim's body, that being a more important detail.
Hold it!
Arranged in certain ways. When you say arranged, I presume you mean with this. Yes, the instructions in the engineer's note said something along the lines of, fabricate some evidence to make it clear that our hairbrain alone could have killed Asman. So, you mean that was your doing? I fetched Hairbrain's ridiculous screwdriver from the stage and took it with me, alone, to the abyss under the stage where the birdcage had fallen. Alone, Doctor? Sinister glare. I didn't feel it would be appropriate to involve anybody else in that particular part of the deception. Oof. It was a void under the stage where I found the birdcage lying in the dirt. I approached it, leaned down, and slowly opened it up. Then I took the screwdriver in both hands and plunged it into the man's chest. Then you noted that in your fake autopsy report was a fictitious cause of death. Exactly. So, the actual cause of death was a trauma resulting from a 30-foot drop. My word. What is it, Miss Fusado? Something about Dr. Sithe's last statement. It's playing on my mind, that's all. It was in fact a additional observation. I suppose the question is... Yes, mine too. Dr. Sithe. There's really no need to shout. I can hear you perfectly well. The defense calls for you to add what you just said to your formal testimony. Oh? Which part? What I want her to supplement her testimony with is... What she did to the victim. How you stabbed Mr. Aspen in the chest, that part. Fine, if that's what you want. But there's really no need to point. I will point as well. The prosecution concurs. Very well. You will supplement your testimony now, witness. That glare. If you wish, my lord. So it was you who stabbed Aspen with this? Yes. Far easier than dissection, I assure you. No precision required. What a welcome change. The victim died instantly from a snapped neck. All I did was carry out the instructions I'd been given. As unflinchingly as ever, no doubt. I imagine you didn't bat an eyelid when you drove the weapon into his body. There was no need to bat my eyelids. And what else did you do to twist the facts? Remind the court, why don't you? If you wish. Do we want that or the real cause of death?
Hold it!
I'm actually not sure now. The entire team, perverting the course of justice. My team consists of the very best investigators there are. I demand loyalty from all members. We operate on a code of chivalry of sorts. You aid and abet a murderer, commit perjury, and dare to talk of chivalry? It was a matter of priorities. What? Nothing was more important than protecting the secret of the professor. My team did what was necessary without losing sight of the primary goal. Consider their conduct exemplary. Who could see the point, Mr. Naruhodo? You mustn't let her win. I need a lawyer. I'll take that silence as tacit acceptance. Now, can we move on? I can't do her voice properly right now with my... my head being so oopsies. So that's her story. We submitted everything and revealed her full involvement in the crime. I do wonder if there could really be much more to it. Well, I don't know, but I just have a feeling. And do you, Mr. Naruhodo? The truth is, I find it strange, too. How those two are reacting to this in completely opposite ways, I mean. Yes, exactly. For some reason, I feel sure they're still trying to hide something. I wonder. He had to have been upright somehow.
Objection!
Because the blood trailed down a little bit. I've got a nasty feeling that this inconsistency points to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Ooh? What on earth is the matter, Counsel? Have you lost your tongue? I apologize, my lord. Dr. Sithe, in that last statement of yours, there's just one point. It seems to defy explanation. Out with it, my learned friend. Oh, we're just a plain old learned friend now? It's an obvious inconsistency between your description and this photograph, which shows the victim in the birdcage following the events that led to his death.
Objection!
The court has already examined that photograph in depth. There's nothing new we can learn from it.
Objection!
Yes, we have already considered it. That's true. But we now know the facts to be different. What do you mean? I believe we should let the defense explain. Where in this photograph would we see the alleged inconsistency with the witness's statement? Right about here?
Take that!
Look closely at the bloodstain on the victim's chest. It clearly extends in a downwards direction toward the man's feet. And why is that significant, Counsel? If the victim was stabbed moments before the kinesis machine was set in motion, that's entirely expected. Ah, of course, no, that's not what happened. Exactly, my lord. Dr. Sithe made it very clear in her testimony just now. At the point in which she stole a hairpin screwdriver and stabbed the victim was after he fell. It was after the grand deception was set in motion, when the birdcage had fallen below the stage out of sight. From the shape of it, it's clear that the birdcage would have fallen on its side after a 30-foot drop. The victim really had been stabbed whilst in the birdcage in that position. The blood from the wound would have spread out equally in all directions. Which would have formed the longitudinal appearance we see in this picture is inconceivable. Uh-oh. Ah. It's fucked up. So what is the truth here? Given that the victim's blood seeped vertically downward toward the wound, it must be the case that when you stabbed Mr. Aspen, he was standing up. In short, Dr. Sithe, your latest testimony was a total fabrication. No! There we go. I knew it. I was right. Now I've identified that contradiction. There's only one way to explain the facts. We've all been under a great misapprehension here. What? What sort of misapprehension? Dr. Sithe. You claim you were coerced into helping Mr. Trevor as a result of the note he left in the waxwork. You claim that you made changes to the scene of the crime to implicate the defendant. And you claim that you altered a fake autopsy report to cover your tracks. But one of those claims is an out-and-out lie. It's the question of what the bloodstain really tells us. There's only one possible answer. If that is the case, what is it, man? Counsel, you've clearly struck upon a revelation. Now tell the court what it is. Which part of Dr. Sithe's story is shown to be a lie by the contradiction in her testimony? Alright, let's think about this here. Seeing the crime, stabbing. What does this tell us? You stabbed Mr. Aspen when he was standing up. This feels like the obvious. I'm torn. I might be overthinking this. It feels like the obvious answer, and obviously wrong. The obvious answer in that she obviously faked this part, so she lied about faking the crime scene because the victim was stabbed standing up, so that part of it was faked. Also could be said that that's the contradiction you just pointed out. What the heck you doing, man? Oh, okay. We'll go with the easy answer. The answer is very simple if you consider the sequence of events. If when the victim was stabbed, the blood from the wound seeped downwards as it did, we can be sure that the victim must have been either sitting or standing upright at the time. As you rightly pointed out, the birdcage would have been fallen on its side when it fell beneath the stage. Yes, it would, which tells us the victim must have been in that position of his own accord.
Objection!
Eh? That's impossible. The man was dead, remember? No, that is the misapprehension. Oh. When the birdcage fell from the stage into the void below, it must have hit the ground with considerable force. But he wasn't in it? Or did it actually protect him? Mr. Aspen didn't die in the fall. He probably lost consciousness for a while, but when he came round, he got to his feet to climb out of the cage. Just as Dr. Sithe appeared. Jerry's gone. If the victim was in fact alive at that point in time, it changes everything. Ah. Ah! Mr. Odie Aspen's killer wasn't the defendant, Professor Albert Hairbrain, nor was it the mastermind behind the stage trickery, Mr. Enoch Drebber. It was you, Dr. Courtney Sithe. Ah! Order. Can this possibly be true? Have you been taking me for a fool? It was you, wasn't it? You killed him. You hoped that by admitting to being an accomplice in Mr. Drebber's scheme, the trial would end. Before you were accused of a far worse crime. Cold-blooded murder. Oh, do shut up. You're so desperate now, you're making all this up, as if I would do something like that.
Objection!
Susato? I assure you the defense is not desperate, Doctor. Mr. Naruhodo has established the facts using evidence and logic alone. Ha! Logic? Don't make me laugh. And sadly, your logic has a gaping hole in it. What? What do you mean? I'd have thought it was obvious. Motive, boy. You're lacking a motive. What possible reason would I have to kill Mr. Aspen? Aspen was involved in any number of criminal activities, from coercion to theft to murder. But there is no known connection to Dr. Sithe there. Whoa. I'm rather relieved to say it does seem somewhat far-fetched. True, there's no obvious motive, but there's still something in the back of my mind. I feel sure I've seen something somewhere that hints at why the coroner might have done this. Yes, I might have tampered with the crime scene and concocted a fake report. But murdering someone for no reason is a very different story.
Objection!
No, when you questioned what possible reason you could have for wanting to kill Mr. Aspen, something did come to mind. What? What was it, counsel? Enlighten the court at once. We're going to jump back to the bullet that was fired at the graveyard? Yes, we saw it yesterday, didn't we? Something that seems strange, but we had no reason to suspect it at the time. It's a particular object that explains why Dr. Sithe would have wanted to kill Mr. Aspen. Iron mask. Let me look at this. The head was returned separately from the body. I don't remember where we found it, though. You know, I was thinking, looking on it here, we can see like the bolts of the iron mask here, so that's our sign that the iron mask was there in the depiction of the rise from your grave. So I don't see how the screwdriver would have been related to it, and we don't really have any frame of reference with the scalpels. Anything related to this? No. Is there any connection that would be there between financial backer, but also a large criminal organization? Don't really see. It has to be the mask, right? It's the Iron Mask. You've lost me. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but why the Iron Mask? Well, of all the things I saw yesterday, it left the greatest impression, so, false. Clearly you have no idea what you're talking about. Ah, I think I must have said the wrong thing. Understandable. Forgive the interruption, Dr. Sithe. But what my colleague meant to say was scalpels. That makes a little more sense to you. Of course. Did you say scalpels? I completely forget the context of this. It would appear that word has struck a chord, Doctor. Come on, loud with it. It was yesterday, when we visited your laboratory. Look at this big, thick book here. It appears to be an accounting ledger. It's record of the forensic investigation team's spending, I think. Oh. We didn't make a note of that. Oh? What is it? It's clear that the team purchases various equipment and supplies on a monthly basis, but... well, one entry seems rather strange. Really? In what way? I remember this now. They're buying 500 scalpels every month. That's money laundering. To pay a debt. 500 scalpels a month? At first I wondered what on earth you could be using that many scalpels for. But actually, I realize now it's not scalpels themselves that are significant. It's the money for them. It's appearing every month for the department's accounts. Aspen's criminal organization relied heavily on extortion for its funding. Tracing the money from the forensic investigation team's account to find out where it was going, would be extremely straightforward. 10 years ago, when Mr. Aspen was still a journalist and wrote this article about Mr. Drebber, he may well have stumbled upon information as he was researching this story. Information relating to Dr. Sithe's darkest secret that he would use to rack money from her for the next decade. Her darkest secret? Good lord, you mean... I don't know what happened on the night of that execution 10 years ago. But clearly the opportunity to rid yourself of that menace was too tempting to pass up. So in the end, you weren't coerced at all, were you? You did it entirely of your own free will. You stabbed Mr. Aspen in the heart with all your might. To silence the blackmailer who knew your dark secret forever. You'll never understand. None of you. Woman trying to get ahead. We've had to keep covered up all these long years. Aspen know the secret of the... Did Aspen know the secret of the execution? Something rather poignant about a heavy story beat culprit getting a very subdued breakdown. There's very little of the machine remains as it was after it was ripped apart by the bomb. The truth, this case can never be properly established unless you speak out. And if you decide not to, it's very possible that Dr. Sithe will escape punishment for her crimes. Please, sir, own up to what you've done, and tell the court the truth about what happened. 10 years ago, you told the truth, and you were robbed of a bright and successful future as a result. I can certainly understand your bitterness and your consternation now, however. This is surely the chance you've been waiting for, to sever that hold that fate's had over you all these years. Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis. I mean, really. It's the addled brain, mock scientists that are the worst, you know. They don't recognize the fact that they don't have talent. They can't even get that right. And so they end up chasing impossible dreams, having unbridled faith in their abilities. They go on and on about their wonderful hypotheses, their stupid eyes shining like a little child's. They make me sick. I can't abide their foolishness. Careful, Mr. Drebber. I was particularly pleased with the kinesis machine. I had made for quite a show, didn't it? Hmm? So you admit it? You admit that it was nothing more than a sham made for the purpose of killing the victim? Yes, I admit it. I did it all in the name of revenge. Revenge for the future that Mr. Aspen's article had deprived you of 10 years earlier. But the revenge you sought didn't stop at Aspen, did it? Which is where that very particular waxwork comes in. Yes, I see. The condemned convict that you saw rising from the grave in Lowgate Cemetery 10 years ago. If your account of those events was all true, then obviously Scotland Yard couldn't afford to acknowledge what had happened. Even if it meant discrediting a bright young man and crushing any future career he might have had. So your plan required that you abduct that particular waxwork model. In order to exact revenge on Scotland Yard as well. Or on Dr. Sithe, to be precise. Implicate her, but she just happened to go a step further. It was a year ago. By some extraordinary twist of fate, Aspen turned up at my workshop. He didn't remember who I was, of course. He just wanted to employ my services as an engineer. And he happened to have a paper with him. An article on the front page caught my eye. But the coroner who'd handled that bogus autopsy being appointed head of a new forensic team. When I learned that news, my cognitive processes started to devise the plan. What a horrid tale. He thought me of my future, so I wanted to use the man's own wiles against him for revenge. And have that rotten Scotland Yard eating out of my hand at the same time. I wanted them all to suffer the same humiliation I'd had to suffer. Your actions against those who'd ruined your future were justified as revenge. At least, to yourself. Certainly, no one has the right to destroy another's prospects, especially for purely selfish gain. And yet, in carrying out your plan, you did exactly that to someone else, didn't you? Did I? Mr. Harebrain's only crime was passion for his hypothesis, but you had no compunction about sacrificing his future to effect your revenge. You knew that he would be forever branded a failure and a fraud. Perhaps life treated you unfairly 10 years ago, and others' misconduct left your life in tatters. But remember this. Your own actions resulted in exactly the same thing for another perfectly innocent young man. Aye. He seemed to acknowledge it, at least. Lord Van Zieks, what of Dr. Sithe? An immediate warrant for arrest has been granted, and she's been remanded in custody, my lord. I presume she will face trial in the coming days, along with Mr. Jebber. A most regrettable situation indeed. She's made great contributions to her profession over the years. It really is a hard truth to swallow. However, that is a topic for some future occasion. For now, Professor Harebrain... yes. It seems there was a great deal more to your experiment than you realized. However, I think we can assume now that all the sordid details have been brought to light. This has been a very long and profound trial, but I'm pleased to say you are absolved of all guilt. This whole experience has taught me a very great but painful lesson. This dedicated scientist, this devotee of natural philosophy. I've been selfish and self-centered and, above all, a fool. Professor! I've spent my life thinking of nothing but my research. Misguidedly believing that I could do whatever I set my mind to despite my lack of talent. And the worst of it is, in the process, I've caused others pain and misery. Others who are far, far greater than people that I... No, Professor. That's not true. What? Don't tar yourself with the same brush as Drebber. What happened was his doing, and his alone. This outcome is his fate, not yours. You're not to blame in any way. Your only crime was possibly having flawed science. That's about it. Really. Lord Van Zieks. And the derision with which he referred to you earlier, calling you a fool, talentless even, was entirely unfair. The man has no idea. To believe in yourself and work your fingers to the bone to realize your dreams, that's laudable, not laughable. No one has the right to deride another for such choices. Oh. Thank you, Baroque. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, yes, my lord. It is this court's expectation that you find the defendant not guilty of the charge of which he stands accused. Presume there are no objections. None for me, my lord. Certainly not. This trial has really made me think, but this is the right decision. It's all been proven methodically and vigorously. I have no misgivings whatsoever. What's that? It's done, is it? It's all over? I don't know what's become of the yard these days. I don't recognize the place. Very well. In that case, I hereby pronounce the defendant. Woo! Court is adjourned. It's over. That was some trial. Where do we even go from here now that we've opened this can of worms, eh? Professor, what a splendid outcome, isn't it? Oh, it is, it is. Congratulations, Professor Hairbrain. I don't know if he's feeling quite up to celebrating. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Zato. I am truly beside myself with gratitude. How can I ever thank you enough? I'm just glad it's all been cleared up. Don't you realize you were just caught up in a bad situation? Right now, you know, if I get that research grant money. I'd give the whole lot to you, every penny. Well, that's very kind, but I'm just a student, so... We don't need any financial reward. Your acquittal is more than enough. Oh dear, what can I do? How about this? As a memento, the paper about my hypothesis is inside. Well, just as a memento then. Thank you. Yeah, aw. Love this guy. I've been wondering, Professor, what are you going to do now? No. Oh my. Yes. What am I going to do? My hypothesis of my great machine lie in ruins. But still, it's been too long since I was last in London, so perhaps I'll enjoy some sightseeing. Just explore the Great Exhibition whilst I'm here, too, and see if new inspiration hits me. Oh, yes, that's a wonderful idea. I can't allow that. Lord Van Zieks? What are you doing in here? Baroque. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Albert. Well, if I'm honest, it was terrifying. You were like a great demon behind your bench there, staring down your prey. You're one of the few true friends I have. I couldn't leave it to anybody else to handle the prosecution or the defense. Sorry? Or the defense? Did I just hear that right? Did he trust us? I always knew you had my best interests at heart, don't worry. Well, how about you show me around while I'm here in town? It's been a long time since we left university. We have a lot to catch up on. By your side? Listen, Albert. In a few days, your acquittal will be made official. When that happens, you must head straight to Dover. I'll accompany you. What? From there, you'll cross the channel and make your way back to Germany. I've already purchased the tickets. But no! Hold on a minute, Baroque. What about the Great Exhibition? This is the chance of a lifetime for me. I want to look around. No sightseeing, Albert. Give up on the idea. Sometimes it's hard to see any warmth in those eyes, Baroque. Lord Van Zieks? What's all this about? A necessary precaution. Precaution? Yes, I think I understand. You do? Well, Iris told me that when you met Lord Van Zieks at his office some days ago, he asked how Mr. Natsue was doing. Yes, that's right. I remember being surprised at the time, and thinking it was nice of him to ask. The point is, Natsue is still alive and well, and he's out of the country. Even though it's been more than 6 months now since he stood trial with the Reaper as the prosecutor. You mean Reaper's influence doesn't stretch overseas? Those in the Reaper's sights meet their ends days or sometimes months after their acquittal. That's been the pattern up until now. Of course, I know that both Mr. Natsue and Gina were completely innocent, and Gina's been fine. Is Gina still on the chopping block? True. And perhaps that governs the Reaper's actions. The truly innocent are spared. I don't want to take any chances with a close personal friend. But Baroque really is sending him away for his own good. Which also means that the Reaper and Van Zieks are two separate entities. I mean, that much is obvious, but this as an explicit conclusion to the thread of Naruhodo going around asking about, talking to Baroque about the Reaper very offhandedly. Like the mustached Nipponese, this man should leave the country without delay. That's why I'm packing him off to Germany at once. Right. Does your friend-shaped package get any say in it? Goodness, was this your intention all along then, Lord Van Zieks? In court, where people think of him as the Reaper, this man seems absolutely merciless, and yet, sometimes I feel as though I don't understand him at all. It's time to go, Albert. Back to the prison for the time being. Yes, all right. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you so much for everything. Not at all, Professor. It was a pleasure getting to know you. Best wishes, Professor Hairbrain. Well, once the dust is settled, you must come and visit me in Germany. Anyway, goodbye for now. Now, my Nipponese friend. Oh, yes? Thought you'd gone too. We have matters to discuss. Can you spare me some time? You want to talk with me? I'll be waiting in the courtroom in 10 minutes. Well, that was strange. For some reason, I didn't get that sense of impending doom as he walked away this time. He sees us as an equal, a peer. The enigma, Baruch van Zieks. What does he want to discuss, I wonder? Answer awaits in the courtroom, I suppose. Here goes, then. So, are you satisfied? You saved a guileless scientist from a great injustice. Yes, I think so. I'm relieved, at least, that the man's innocence could be proven. Anyway, I imagine you've been wondering where my animosity towards you Nipponese comes from. What's that? Well, at first I thought you just didn't like me. Imagine you saw me as a pretentious child from an unimportant land who had no business being here. But now I think differently. You clearly know our ways, so I would guess that some specific incident led to your thorough dislike of my race. Will you tell me what happened, please? Professor. Ooh. I thought I'd never hear that name in this courtroom again, to be honest. He took your brother's life. Clint. My brother was Clint Van Zieks. 16 years ago, when I was still just in my teens, he was already the director of prosecutions and a key member of the judiciary. I looked up to him. He was everything I aspired to be. Oh. He was involved in the establishment of justice systems in foreign countries as well. There were exchange programs between Britain and other nations then, too, to share knowledge and ideas. As part of one of these programs, 3 judicial students came to Britain from your homeland, the Empire of Japan. Oh! It was 16 years ago. Then, one of them could have been my father. Of course, I remember Dr. Mikotoba well. I had no idea. I was a minor at the time and training at the prosecutor's office. One day, Clint introduced me to the 3 visiting Nipponese. So, you've actually met my father. He and his colleagues were polite and amicable. They were adept at their work and exacting in their standards. It was my first encounter with the Nipponese spirit, and it made a very great impression upon me. But 6 years later, and that's when it happened. The investigation was going nowhere. There were no suspects even, just an ever-growing list of victims. And in the end, my brother became one of them. The last, in fact, before the case was finally resolved. I'm so sorry, Lord Van Zieks. Truly. Clint was always ready to put his life on the line for justice anyway. So he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He lost his life to the killer, but it was his victory in the end. For me personally, though, it was a great loss. I found myself in a very dark place indeed. When I finally found out the killer's identity, the reason why no one had been able to catch the man sooner ceased to be such a mystery. He'd been hiding in plain sight all the time. In plain sight? Are you aware of political events 10 years ago? It was a period of extremely sensitive diplomacy between the British and Japanese empires. A new treaty was being forged, I think? Correct. The Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation was being concluded. Leaders of both countries were deep in extensive political discussions. Which is why this particular killer's appearance in court was conducted as a closed trial. The British public had known the identity of the killer. Not only would the treaty have been in jeopardy, but our 2 nations could very well have ended up at war. What? A war? Between Britain and Japan? A diplomatic incident. That would mean... Oh my! You mean to say that Professor was...
When the trial reached its conclusion earlier, I thought to myself, yes, it's time.
Oh shit.
Time for you to come face to face with this hideous monster. I borrowed the key for the mask from the proprietress of the Waxwork Museum. So see for yourselves now. Confirm it with your own eyes. The truth that's been hidden this past decade.
That's the professor?
Yes, that's him.
Until now, the thought never even crossed my mind. That the mass murderer, whose crimes shook Britain as never before, was Japanese.
Wait a minute. That face. I
Oh?
feel as though I've seen it somewhere. It's strangely familiar.
Kazuma. Oh, that haircut.
Father.
What? Father? Kazuma!
There's our boy.
My best friend, Kazuma Asogi. After a whole year, finally his memories return. As he stood there before me, Ryunosuke. Hello again. My friend.
Kazuma-sama!
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba. It's been a very long road. Thank you. Thank you for guiding my friend here when I could not.
It was an honor.
I knew you wouldn't die that easily. Kazuma.
I owe you thanks, too,
Oh?
for taking good care of that in my absence.
Oh. Karuma, the great blade of the Asogi clan, passed down through the generations. When we left Japan, this sword was at my friend's side. A Japanese man's katana is his soul, and he couldn't be parted from it.
You kept his soul safe.
Then, when the incident happened,
His soul gave you strength.
it was Susato-san's wish that I inherit the sword, and I've kept it with me ever since, along with my memories of the friendship we shared. With this by my side, I always felt that you were watching over me somehow.
Two swords, one Japanese, one English.
At last.
father. Are you saying... Surely not. You mean you knew all this time? I'm looking at it, but I still can't believe it. This mass murderer is Kazuma's father.
Oh, you're right, there's the matter of this. Oh?
Kazuma-sama.
Ryunosuke.
Quick point I want to make. Voice actors are way better than I ever gave them credit for. They're real good.
We have much to talk about, but now is not the time.
Ominous.
I'll be seeing you.
That's all Kazuma said. Before he turned and left us there, in the courtroom.
So he's the living afterimage of the man who took my brother's life, is he? Yes, Kazuma Asogi, my best friend. 3 months ago, when Lord Strongheart introduced us, I had an inkling there was something there. Some connection. Why did Lord Strongheart do that? Why did he make Kazuma Lord Van Zieks' apprentice, when he was suffering amnesia, too? The man was apprehended, even executed. But his legacy just won't die. That's the sad truth. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I thank you for meeting with me as I asked. I must go now. "10 years ago, my grandmother took me to the railway station. We were there to meet my father from the train. For me. It was the first time I'd ever seen him. Poor Susato-san. All this is tied up with painful memories for her, too. She's never talked about this with me before, though. It took time to adjust to having father around. Just when I was starting to get used to it, he called me into his study one day. He told me that a great friend of his had passed away in London. That the friend had left behind a son. A boy, 7 years my senior. Father told me that the boy had made a promise to his late father, so he was studying to become a defense lawyer. I wanted to help, so I studied to become a qualified judicial assistant. As I'm sure you've worked out, that young man's name was Kazuma Asogi. So you see, that's how he and I met.
For a brief moment, my great friend had returned, only to disappear again all too soon. But in that fleeting encounter, something stirred. Something that had been dormant for a long time. As if great wheels had been set in motion. I could almost hear them creaking into life. In some ways, it was the end of a chapter. But in many, it was the start of a new one.
End. We've opened up a door that cannot be closed anymore. What happens next we can only imagine. We will, in fact, continue this next time.